Most is exceptional for me. The track's narrow, but it has absolutely everything a circuit can offer. Long straights, fast corners, technical sections. Most is neither the shortest nor the longest circuit in the whole series. More challenging parts alternate with fast ones, and I always enjoy the track immensely. Your brakes must work perfectly here. We brake from 160 to a very low speed, and it's really no fun. Brakes and acceleration, that's the key here. Take the very first chicane. You can gain as well as lose a lot there. Immediately after start, you have problems getting into the first chicane, which is very narrow. When 3 trucks running side by side try to push their way in, at least one of them is bound to run out of the track. We keep modernizing mainly the circuit's background facilities, making it more pleasant for the truckers. The weather in Most is always interesting. In the morning you tend to say it's going to be a nice day, but in a moment the weather changes with heavy rain and it's so dark you have to switch on the lights. But we are racing drivers and we have to cope with any kind of weather. This is my home track. Even though it's so terribly noisy in the cab and I have to concentrate on the race, I can hear the spectators cheering. Superb. The FIA European Truck Racing Championship treated itself to a nearly 6-week summer break. The teams mostly devoted their time to 2 different activities, holidays or testing. They all got together again in the North Bohemian town of Most, with the only goal in mind, to grab as many points as possible. The current top standings in the championship are as follows. Albacete is in the lead with only 3 points ahead of Kish and 11 points ahead of Hahn. The qualifying practice indicated where the main actors stand. Judging by its lapse time, the first race of the day consisted mainly of starts. There were 3. You will hardly see a stranger race. First attempt. It all started and ended in the legendary narrow and challenging opening chicane. Teodosio, Reinert and Steffi Hahn in the leading rows. All were leaving in their own trucks. Only the German driver Hahn finished with a damaged front axle. Second attempt. Same place, same result. Only the actors are different. This time it was the German veteran Gerd Kerber who remained on the track. The third attempt was successful. There was time only for 7 laps out of the planned 11. Norbert Kish wasn't wasting his time and forged ahead for a clear-cut win. His MAN has number 4. The ambitious Hungarian is eager to get this year's title. But so are Hahn and Albacete. Their MANs with number 1 and 2 respectively are holding on to the medals positions. 7 times 4,222 meters, 9 left and 12 right-hand corners, and 1 checkered flag at the end. Kish is first, ahead of Hahn. Albacete is third.
Yeah, the beginning was a little bit frustrating because I could pull away at the start quite good, and had some gap to Johan, and all the time red flag 2 times I think, and then after that it was kind of the same, it's not much you can do in the first turn, so I could make the start. That was the most important, and then I again had a little bit of gap, and then I had a good pace, so I'm really happy.
Most is in the Czech Republic, but the local intercom also speaks German. Traditionally, there are lots of spectators from the neighboring country. No wonder, there are 6 German pilots competing in their racing trucks. And what's more, there is always a lot of mouth-watering food, and many beautiful girls. And this year, one novelty: live broadcast of the race on large format outdoor screens. It was a great success. The second race of the day. As usual, it's a handicap race. The 8 best-placed drivers from the first race switched their positions. There were thunderstorm clouds coming in from the mountains, but in the end, it was a dry race. An excellent spectacle. We've seen this picture many times. Janier in MAN number 11 in the lead, and a pack of faster and fiercer truckers behind him. But this Frenchman is a defensive genius. Vršecký in Bagheera number 33 keeps attacking tirelessly. This is his home track. He feels his strength and wants to show it. But Janier is holding on to his position. After their clash, Janier and Vršecký found themselves off the track for a moment. And that was an opportunity for Adam Lacko. The Czech driver in Bagheera number 55 snaked his way to the lead in a masterly fashion. And so far, Adam is 4th overall. Hot on his heels, Albacete managed to slip into the 2nd place. Vršecký defended at least the 3rd spot. Lacko, Albacete, Vršecký. A wonderful moment for the home crowd. 2 local boys on the podium. To win at home is amazing. I have my family, my friends here. Our team is Czech. Is there anything better? Evenings in Most are usually exquisite, verging on the slushy. But the weather forecast for Sunday promises something completely different. Water, loads of it. For spectators and for each motorsport, this is quite a tricky situation.
In the end, I love the water, but the problem is when it's too much for everybody, it's not safe to make races. That's the big problem.
You have different asphalts here on the track, and the asphalt which is new, there is a lot of water standing, and then the truck is still swimming. So if it's just wet, it's okay, but it's when it's wet, like in the morning, it's nearly not possible to drive.
The biggest problem is to keep the truck on the black stuff, you know, but now brakes and turning is quite difficult. And also when you put the power, it's very difficult. It's always spinning quite a lot. So you have to be very careful with the power and not spinning quite a lot.
I like water quite a lot. I've always liked it. Even while go-karting, in touring cars or trucks. Water's no problem for me.
We don't have rain tires, so it's very, very slippery in the wet conditions.
The aquaplaning situation, that's the biggest point. When you, with 160 on the straight line, you have the aquaplaning. And with the aquaplaning, you can do nothing. And nothing to do with 5.5 tons, it's not easy. Huh?
In any case, whether the pilots love or hate water on the track, they have no choice. In today's qualifying practice, the trucks are running at least 15 seconds slower than yesterday. And to crown it all, the final standings were additionally changed. Kish in the first row and Wojciech in the second one were penalized for inadequate ground clearance. 2 local boys in Bagheeras in the first row, a pure fantasy for the home crowd. Start under yellow flags, but from then on everyone's going at it at full strength. The rain stopped for a moment and the track is slightly drying out. Vršecký's first, This year, the twice European champion can hardly think of winning the title. The competition of the MAN trucks is overbearing. But here and now, he's being attacked only by his teammate Latsko, number 55. To put it in a nutshell, the Bagheeras are enjoying their home ground. Hahn is third. The defending champion hasn't been so powerful this year, but he hopes his time will come. But even in the sixth event of the season, none of the 6 German pilots will have reached the goal. Vršecký, Latsko, Hahn. Today there were no conditions for starting the ball rolling. I don't like it very much when you cannot race at full throttle. But it probably suits us. Bagheera has won a double. What's more, at home, here in Bohemia, I am overjoyed. You don't have to worry about speed limits in aerobatics, in a special truck competing in the Dakar Rally, not even in a driving simulator. But truck racing is the only motorsport in which maximum speed is limited. Only 160 kilometers per hour is permitted. You soon realize the reason why when you see a heavy-duty truck crash.
Trucks are 5.5 tons, and if you're going with that out of the track, it can be really dangerous. So it's why we limit the speed. We control the limit with GPS beacons on every truck on the roof, and every time during the race we have data or with the computer, and we can control if the truck go upper than 160. And if you go upper than, we can download files, analyze, and apply or not a penalty after. And there is this kind of beacons on every truck. Another speed, it's more than 160 kilometers per 2.75 seconds. Just like that, just that. So if the competitor goes upper than 160 during under than 2.75 seconds, it's not our speed. If he upper, it is.
At the gist of it all is a simple fact. Truck racing is essentially a safe sport. The last race of the wet weekend. As expected, the Hungarian Kish takes the lead. He hasn't been doing too well in Most so far, and he isn't going to add up more points today either. Kish ends with a defect. It's José Rodrigues in Renault number 14 who takes the lead. The Portuguese has already gathered a few points this year, but he doesn't look like winning today. José is fighting for all his worth, but a mistake eventually came. Bersiger is first. The Swiss in MAN number 7 has already been on the highest stand on the podium this year. Behind him, Albacete and Vršecký are fighting it out in a grand way. Antonio knows only too well that he needs every point, but Vršecký is full of zest today. He keeps attacking tirelessly, but the experienced Spaniard makes no mistakes. Marcus Bersiger is driving for his win, but something happened in the very last yards of the race, and quite surprisingly the winner's flag goes for his teammate Albacete. Albacete, Bersiger, Vršecký.
It was very difficult because I have David behind pushing quite hard. I know that he would like to do well here in his home race, but I just said, okay, I have to try and to catch Marcus. I saw that it was faster than him, and at the end I passed him without any problem. So very happy for the whole team.
The team standings after Most are as follows. In the overall standings, Hahn surpassed Kish and Verschetsky goes ahead of Bessiger. Everything is still open. The inscrutable Zolder comes next.